Hello, how are you doing? I hope you're well. Sorry for the cringe intro. But it's Saturday, so you know I can do whatever the fuck I want. Anyway, I can be as cringe as I want on Saturday mornings, okay? And I can do that with my dead voice due to sleeplessness. That said, it's really hot today, really warm. Anyway, I'm not gonna complain. The title says it all, and you know how I go about that shit. So, without further ado, and sorry, I'm still very sleepy, mind you, and I had to go and do some groceries, or get groceries. How the fuck do you say that? Man, English is so hard in the morning. Anyway, yeah, groceries, and it was warm, and you get the idea, okay? I was suffering. No, I mean it was okay, but you know, it was too early though. But it had to be done, otherwise, you know, I got nothing to eat. That said, what are we looking at today? What do I have for you? First of all, that was the amazing piece of music that you just heard. I don't know, it fucking goes so hard. I fucking love it personally. I was listening to that in particular on repeat for the last like hour because I was also setting up my my new XCOM save. I plan to migrate to that from the one that I currently am playing through because, you know, I mean, we've made it far considering it's Long War of the Chosen, right? So we've made it far in that for a noob run, okay? But I've learned enough to think that like it might be better to restart because, you know, we've made like some really poor choices, or I have made some really poor choices. You know, so now that I'm more educated on how to command the XCOM, okay, I think that I will try to get to a similar point, or to a point close enough to where we are on my main save, and when the time is right, just jump over to my new one, you know, which will be a little bit more optimal. Not terribly more optimal, because I didn't like sit there and research like the ultimate meta strats or anything, but you know, just reading a little bit of it, and also like using my own deductions from our playthrough, I can see where I've gone wrong. So yeah, I'm gonna fix that, because I think like my main playthrough that we started is like, it's kind of snowballing really fast at this point, and I think the speed at which it snowballs is going to increase as well, considering everything that's been happening. Yeah, so I'm gonna try. I don't know if I'll make it by Monday or Tuesday, of course, because that's like way too soon. I don't think I can sit there and catch up my new save to the old one. But definitely next week. So not Monday or Tuesday probably. I'm gonna play Baldur's Gate 3 on Monday and Tuesday. But next Monday it should be ready. I should have caught up to our save. Which also speaks volumes about, like, you know, how much we've been struggling. I mean, we've done a lot of missions, but not too much avail, have we? Mistakes were made, okay? Mistakes were made, but yeah, this one is gonna be a little bit more optimized, as I said. Anyway, you're not here for that. White Bat Audio was the music anyhow. Jesus, 14 months. Hey, amazing. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, Neris. Wow. I'm humbled by your continued support, honestly. I'm smiling way more than I should. But I don't know. Thank you. Thank you for supporting me this year plus, you know? shows that I'm doing a good job, at least, you know, for your taste. Hopefully for others as well. But yeah, thank you. I'm terrible at thanking, by the way, so, you know. Anyway, the music was White Bat Audio. As I said again, really good piece. Yeah, go and check it out or subscribe or whatever. I don't care. Not I don't care. I didn't mean to say I don't care, but like, I don't have an agenda here with this person, with you know, Carl Casey. But I do like their music a lot, and I've been using it a lot. So, you know, credit where it's due, as Carl Casey asks as well. So where do we start? I'm gonna start here, I think. I'm gonna start here. The way I'm gonna do this is going to be the usual format, where, you know, I'm just gonna let it play and I'm gonna pause it and comment, right? I mean, you know how this goes, right? You've either seen this like from other streamers or from other streams of mine, I suppose. So you know what's gonna happen. Okay, so yeah, as always, all the disclaimers and stuff. You know, no infringement of violation of code of conduct and ethics, copyright, support, shish kebab. Okay, like all of that. This is just like, you know, talking about it and all that. So you know how it goes, all right? So nothing bad intended and no personal attacking thing to person, just conversation. Yeah. You get it, okay? You're adults, I hope. So you get it, right? So let's see what they have to say. Oh my god, it's so warm. I'm gonna have to turn on my fan, my room fan, in addition to the air conditioner. Holy shit, I'll be right back. Ooh, let's see how this goes. Right, so let's check sound first, for the first like couple of minutes. I'm gonna mute myself and then I will assume that it should be somewhere here. All right. Yeah, sure. Let's see, right? Let's see what happens.
Alright, another MMO Tavern Talk video regarding Guild Wars.
A bit loud? Maybe a bit loud, right? Alright, let's see. Maybe like this?
Too, but I guess you can coin that exact same.
No, maybe a bit more. I mean, I want you to be able to hear the person clearly, right? Alright.
Issue into other games as well. And this time the topic is one I talked about briefly a long time ago, toxic positivity.
Is this okay? Is this fine? Maybe lower it a bit more even? This is good, alright. Also, right off the fucking start, right? I have to say, toxic positivity is something that you cannot you cannot bear against Guild Wars players. Like, quite honestly. Oh, Anderski, hi. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate it. And also, okay, now I'm shy. Welcome to my Saturday morning stream where I just chat. I don't do anything else, I just chat. Just looking at stuff and then commenting on them. But yeah, as I was gonna say, like, toxic positivity is not like an accusation I would bear against the Guild Wars 2 crowd. Certainly there are some people who are quite positive about it, and I guess some of them can be overwhelming, but I haven't personally stumbled on one. I can be very positive about it. I hope not in a toxic way. But that's curious, because toxic positivity is something you would encounter in, let's say, specifically Final Fantasy. I mean, I've been in World of Warcraft. I've never seen World of Warcraft players go that crazy I assume maybe yes. I don't know. I mean, World of Warcraft has some hardcore fans, right? But are they... Is there toxic positivity in the sense of like, if you don't like it, they're going to shun you and like ostracize you and stuff? Because that's what happens in Final Fantasy when you meet someone of that description, right? But in Guild Wars, I mean, never seen it. In fact, I've seen a lot of negativity, which I've covered in previous videos, actually, in previous streams, which I uploaded on my YouTube channel, where people literally are going out of their mind, like they're losing their shit, trying to claim that Guild Wars 2 is dead or dying, and like, so I'm not quite sure if I agree from the get-go, but let's see what kind of like evidence and arguments are presented here, right?
Or toxic fandom, I'm not really sure how you want to call it. And like always, that idea is based on a recent event. So basically ArenaNet, the development team, or well, to be honest, the maintenance team behind Guild Wars 2, did a live stream where they talked about upcoming changes in competitive modes, and unfortunately I went into that live stream with a false mindset. I was excited. Yep, I know, because a few weeks prior, ArenaNet announced a new PvP mode, and I thought ArenaNet will talk about just that. I don't know, 15v15 game mode, Battlegrounds, an actual GVG mode, Capture the Flag, you name it. TLDR, it wasn't about that. It was once again one of these situations where the leadership forced the balance team to do something, and the balance team shuffled around some numbers. They basically made changes only a small group of, I don't know, drunk people would come up on a lazy Saturday evening in a pub. You know, stuff like, how about we add kangaroo pets to Ranger? At any rate, the biggest change was basically copy-pasting the monthly automated tournament and make it into a weekly event. So, content for 20 people with their 5 alt accounts.
Right, so I'm not a world versus world or PvP like aficionado, let's say. So I can't really comment on a larger scale or a deeper scale, or deeper level, sorry. But you see, they've been, to my eyes, right, to my uneducated eyes when it comes to world versus world and all that. And I will collectively call it PvP. Because I'm tired of making the whole distinction of, you know, world versus world PvP. You know what I'm talking about when I say PvP. It contains like all of those things. It encompasses all of those things. So, what I do know is that it does have its following, and that they're trying to kind of, let's say, polish it a bit. So, even though it's not large changes, they are trying to do this whole thing where if you're representing a guild, let's say, you can then be on the same map and on the same team with your guild, right? Which you couldn't before. And correct me if I'm wrong about all this, but yeah, I think they're kind of focused on that, which is why we've been getting those, you know, weeks of, or even I think more than a week, I don't know, of PvP restructuring betas, right? Public betas where we kind of also get some nice cool skins if we participate and all that shit. So, by the way, those skins are fucking great. Anyway, the skins weren't the issue. So, that's what I know about it. I'm not sure that it's genuine to say that all they did like is reshuffle some things. I'm not sure how large of a restructuring, literally in this case, the restructuring will require, right? So I don't know how much effort they have to put under the hood to make it happen. I have no fucking idea. Maybe it's lazy work. Maybe this guy is right. I don't know. All I wanted to comment on that is that like what they describe isn't the only thing they've been doing. So yeah, let's see. And hey, at least, without wanting to defend them, I will say that at least they do shuffle things around. And maybe they do so haphazardly, but the thing is they actually do it. So that's a plus, I guess. And you know, as opposed to like just doing nothing, I suppose. Which is, yeah, it's a little bit like saying it's better than nothing, but you know, I guess credit where it's due.
At the end of the day, I was disappointed, to say at least. However, here comes the problem I ran into. Maybe I viewed that live stream as utter garbage because I went in with the wrong expectations. If ArenaNet announces something, you should not go in with zero expectations. You have to be set up for disappointment. But again, maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, following that,
a little bit of backstory about this channel. And again, like, I'm not attacking the person or anything, of course. But this person is completely burned out on Guild Wars 2. I think I will paraphrase, okay? I don't remember the exact quotes, but we've watched another video from this person, and or I've watched one in private, I don't even remember. I think it was on stream. And this particular person is very fucking jaded. I'm not sure I remember why, but they've burned out on it and they've given up on Guild Wars and playing Guild Wars for a while, to their admission. And I guess that doesn't exclude them from voicing an opinion, and it doesn't cancel like their views or whatever on new stuff, because perhaps they know a lot to be able to deduce what something that is announced will play out, in what fashion it will play out. So I'm not saying, this guy doesn't like it, so his opinions are invalid. Like, I'm just saying he's very negative because he's burned out and fed up with Guild Wars 2, which is understandable. I mean, I talk in a similar manner when I'm talking about Final Fantasy, for example, right? Which, again, even in my case, you shouldn't be taking everything I say as gospel, obviously, right? Because at the end of the day, it is the opinions of someone who is burned out on something and they're still commenting on it, possibly with the hopes of at one point liking it again and being eager to like it again, and so just keep that in mind, that this is the perspective of this person. In a lot of ways, we are similar in how we talk about our respective, quote unquote, hated games and burned out on games. But I would like to say that at least, and I feel this person too, at least we're trying to be kind of objective or somehow, she can't be objective, of course. It's all opinions. But, at least try to base our opinions on facts, let's say. And this is the only thing I'm caring about right here with this video. Is any of this based on facts? I mean, you can have your opinion. It can be a bad opinion, it can be a good opinion, it can be like negative, positive, whatever, but what the fuck is it based on? Because, for example, whenever I voice my complaints on Final Fantasy in the past, that's what I mean about being objective. I have tried to present the facts that have led me to those opinions, and that's why I'm like super curious about this one, because toxic positivity is just not present to the best of my knowledge. And, as far as discussions I've had with other people go, there is just not a perceivable amount of it in Guild Wars 2. I mean, it's actually the opposite, as I said in the start. So that's what I'm here to find out. Like, is this person basing their opinions like on something that isn't there, and not to like cancel their opinions? Obviously, I'm not there for that. Anyway, I thought I should say that.
I started to look up other people's opinion, which, in the Guild Wars 2 sphere, is very, very difficult, apart from the usual suspects, but more on that later. And following that, I did a little bit of research, and I actually found some people who were also disappointed, and not just because they, like me, expected something else. I also found people who were disappointed because all these changes effectively don't change anything. World versus World is still a blob matter. Roma specs still one-shot you by just looking at you, and a new tournament for the same 20 people and that one guy with 4 alt accounts building a team to get in the top 8.
What he describes as toxic positivity so far sounds more like just being excited. Yeah, if you want to be cynical, you can say that, of course. And I don't blame you for wanting to be cynical, because I also want to like shit talk all over this guy's opinions. But like, at the same time, why not? No, but like at the same time, it's like I'm trying to be polite. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to be polite here, because so far all I've heard. Let me be cynical as well. All I've heard is, "Oh my God, the changes that I think are the best for the game aren't going in. Fuck this game," which is fair. It's fair, okay? That's what I did with Final Fantasy. I was like, oh my god, like they're never changing the stuff that I want them to change. This game is not for me. And you know, crying about it aside, it is legit. But is he like, this is a 10-minute video and we're 2 minutes in, and all he said is like, I went on a stream and they didn't announce what I wanted. I'm done. That's all he's saying. And then I went and found echo chambers, and it was fine, because you know that kind of like sustained me and like nurtured me and coddled me, and now I feel good enough to post a video about it. At the very least, whenever I fucking cry about stuff, it's a solo project. I'm in my own corner, just crying and screaming my fucking lungs out. This guy went and looked for the literal echo chambers. So yeah, I don't know. So far, I'm not impressed by this. But yeah, you know, let's turn off my own toxicity and let's continue.
Felt a little bit like, yeah, nothing. But apart from some outliers who have seen that live stream as nonsense, the majority thought it was amazing. Basically, immediately you found stuff like huge changes, or PvP and world versus world is alive again. And right here comes the point where I want to talk about toxic positivity.
Alright, we're getting into it. So before that, but before that, what I will say is, yes, the Twitch stream lurkers, who actually like hound any stream and any announcement and immediately go there and immediately like, you know, just fucking yes man for the devs of any game. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you can call that toxic positivity for sure. But is that like specific to Guild Wars? I don't know. It isn't. But that is not even relevant. We're not saying it's specific to Guild Wars here. We're saying, you know, according to the video guy, that basically, yeah, it's a thing. But I mean, what does he expect? He's going on a stream. Of course, it's gonna be people like that. For me, toxic positivity, because I honestly just don't lurk on ArenaNet streams or anything. I just, you know, I don't even read patch notes. I'm like, yeah, changes are coming, cool, let me see what they are. And then Neris goes, oh, they might do this and that. And I go like, okay, that sounds bad or that sounds cool, depending. So no, I don't fucking shield or yes man it, you know, I'm just going like, yeah, whatever, let's see what happens. I already like the game as it is. I like the core. That's the thing, you see. If you like the core of the game, then you don't really care. You can just chill and like do what you do, and then when a change might affect like your gameplay, you adapt. Like maybe your rotation changes a bit, maybe a new weapon becomes meta, you know, that sort of stuff, you know. Whereas, for example, Final Fantasy's core is not for me. So if I was expecting changes that will affect the core, you know, characteristics of the game, I'm never gonna find them, and I will be miserable, like this guy is. You know, instead, I packed my shit and I left. That's the healthiest solution, right? Pack your shit and go. And if, and you know, when something changes, you can pack your shit again and also go back. But nothing stops you. Alright? So, yeah, I don't know. You can vent about it like I do and talk some shit about it, deservedly. Okay? And that's it. You don't have to... I don't think it warrants like in-depth analysis or something. It is what it is. Anyway, so far all this is... this guy is just saying... In other words, I don't like Guild Wars. Like, that's what he's saying. Anyway, but let's get into the toxic positivity part, I guess. Let's see what the matter is here.
In Guild Wars 2 especially. So it is not a secret that the Guild Wars 2 community is a very, very small one in comparison, and content you find on YouTube is either neutral or informative, like guides or news or overwhelmingly positive, like opinions given on changes or that classic new player tries. And in addition to that, we go a little bit subjective here because the following is just based on my observation. Guild Wars,
But even the preceding stuff is based on only this person observation, I would argue. Like, honestly, like, where is this toxic positivity? If I go, like, maybe Mighty Teapot is overly positive, I don't fucking know, I don't watch the guy. Mukluk is, like, very grounded. That's the only person I watch, the only Guild Wars person I watch. I don't know. I don't know. Is Mighty Teapot like how Zepla used to be for Final Fantasy or Mioni? I don't know. I cannot tell, but I never see. So let's be honest. What I see the most is like new players going like, "Oh, I tried Guild Wars for a week. Let's see what happened." Half of them fucking hate it. All right. Some of them are stoned. Like that one guy's video that we watched where he was literally going like he was talking about some weird meteor shit that falls down and kills him, and then he was angry about that. I don't even know. Like, so let's say 1/3 of those videos are stoned dads and sons and daughters who just have no idea what the fuck they're talking about and they just ramble, and then they go like, in the end I didn't like it, and that's it. So there's nothing positive about that. There is some people who post videos where they go like, I tried Guild Wars 2 and yeah, it's actually a good game. Which, what do you want? You won't be angry, but do you want to be angry because, like, you know, somebody tried it and was like, yeah, it's cool, you know, it's fine, I played, I had fun, whatever, you know. And then there's other people, and I'll say that recently they have been the majority, where they're like, boo, Guild Wars 2 sucks, it's not World of Warcraft, and it's definitely not Final Fantasy, it fucking sucks, dude, it's dead. It's dead, it's, you know, Guild Wars 10 is coming out tomorrow, and like, my god, it sucks. So, if anything, at best, I think it's kind of like balanced, like it balances itself out. There's like some fucking stoners just rambling, there is like the Toxic Brigade, and then there's like some guys who just found it interesting for like a month, right? And then there is like a smaller group, I guess, or rather the largest group, sorry, which don't even bother and just stay in the game, and they don't literally annoy anyone by going full toxic positivity, like you would see in Final Fantasy, for example. If you try to talk about the main quest or if you try to talk about the game, you're gonna get slammed if you have a negative opinion by at least a few people around you in the immediate area. And this is true stories. Like I've had this happen to me, I've had it happen to friends. So yeah, I've talked about it before. So you see nothing of that. Instead, there's like some guys just playing the game and having a good time. Like, is that toxic? I mean, I don't know. Maybe a separation needs to be made on whether or not he means toxic positivity in the streams or on YouTube, which that would be wrong, or in the game, which again, that would be wrong. I spent like a shitty amount of time on fucking, on Guild Wars. I just literally, the last couple of days I've been on for like 10 hours a day. I don't even see anybody talking on map chat other than, hey, this event is up, hey, you know, teleport to this point for that thing. Or, hey guys, is the fucking store page down? Or you never see like anything else. I'm not sure like what it is like in maybe other like regions. I don't fucking know, dude. But this baffles me a bit. Anyway, let's let it play.
2 is an echo chamber. People who consume Guild Wars 2 content don't care what is happening elsewhere at all. The best way you can see that is on YouTube or Twitch, because people who are popular because of basically Guild Wars 2 lose a massive part of their audience as soon as they switch games. The viewership goes down by a lot. And yeah, some obviously try to combat that by stuff like embodying their stream elsewhere to boost the viewer count, but
embodying their stream elsewhere? I don't even understand that sentence. Embodying their, like, what, do you become like an avatar of Kane and just like, instead of Kane those, you're like an avatar of Twitch and you just go like, I am the fiery god of destruction. Like, I don't remember the unit quotes, okay? But like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? Anyway, I think in the end he's trying to say. I mean, okay, the only thing he said which made sense to me was like, oh, if one of the major content creators just bails for a bit, then people are gonna bail with them. That happens with every game. It happened like, case in point, Asmongold, right? He left fucking World of Warcraft, went to Final Fantasy. All the leeches and all the the gnomes and the goblins in his stream, all that army just went into Final Fantasy. That's it happened. It just happens. Okay, no offense to these guys anyway. Just gotta make fun. I'm sorry. But yeah, they all went there. All the good people in there. They just moved as well, and that's fine. That happens. Like population migrations happen. It's like flocks of birds. Okay, it happens. It just happens. I'm not sure why this is toxically positive. For Guild Wars specifically. My God, I don't know. Like I think this guy is just making this up.
It doesn't really matter. I guess it is a business decision and it's normal or default nowadays. I mean, yeah, it is kinda unfair towards fellow streamers, but...
He said the opposite, that people don't follow for other stuff, but that's also very normal for a lot of streamers. Yeah, I mean, if I understood it incorrectly and what you're saying is true, I'm just gonna reverse a few words in there and the same thing still stands. Like, legit. Yeah, some people will follow the streamer, some will not follow the streamer. What's the deal? Like, so? All I have to ask in this is, so? That's normal, as he said. That's perfectly normal. But I thought he was talking about actually migrating. But he was talking, I guess, from what you're saying, about not migrating. Which, you know what? Not migrating is good for the game, I guess. Like, why would you... What's this guy's beef? I don't understand. What is his problem? I don't get it. I'm not trying to be sarcastic here. Like, what's your malfunction, kid? I'm just saying, I don't understand what his problem is, for real. Anyway, let's see.
It is what it is, I guess. The point is, it is not about the person, or the opinion, or the type of content. It is about Guild Wars 2. Period. Nothing more, nothing less. And okay, to de-escalate a little bit, I want to talk about a concept here. I would really like to hear your opinion. No need to throw strange stuff at me, even though I'm used to it by now. Anyways, now comes another issue into play.
Dude, I cannot follow what he's saying. I am struggling to follow because I'm struggling. I may be dumb. Maybe I'm stupid. Maybe I'm too stupid for this guy. Maybe this guy is fucking cooking right now. I don't know. That's a lot of words saying nothing. That's a huge fucking wall text that is like almost like what I use when I'm trying to tell you about disclaimers on videos, like copyright infringe no intent but constructive and fair, don't attack person. Like it sounds like me, except I'm doing it for fun. This guy is trying to say something and it's coming out like a fucking word salad. What is the point? What is your annoyance? Like what annoys you? What is your problem? What is like where are you basing? Oh my God! I'll just gonna let it play.
Telling people what they want to hear. So if you try to talk to die-hard Guild Wars 2 fans, do you try to be positive or negative towards the game? Most likely you stay positive because that way you find more like-minded people. And now we go.
What? Nobody fucking does that. Nobody fucking does that. If I don't like something about the game, I'm gonna fucking shit talk about it all day. I'm gonna fucking destroy it. I'll rip it apart. I don't care whom I'm talking to, And the same for Final Fantasy, which is what leads to people like literally ostracizing me. And why I stopped fucking talking about it, I was just like, whatever, man. I know what's gonna happen. It's fine. So towards the end, I was like not even talking about, just passingly, I would say, for example, oh my God, Endwalker is fucking boring, dude. And I would immediately get like, nope, it was the best. Nope, amazing. Nope, amazing. And that was my fucking alarm bell going like, don't continue it. So if anything, I was like neutral. I was like, yep, I don't care to share my opinion. I'm sorry. But like, who the fuck? I mean, I guess some people do that, I suppose. I don't know. If they want to be liked, right? If their purpose is to be liked, I guess, for some reason, they could do this. They could, like, Like if I wanted to be fake and go walk up to someone in Final Fantasy and say, "So, buddy, what do you think about the story?" And they go like, "Oh, it was amazing." And then I will be like, my brain is gonna go like, thinking mode. What I want to do, I want that person to like me for arbitrary reasons. Okay, yeah, I also found it amazing. Like, does anyone who does this is like legit stupid? So, is this guy angry at stupid people? Because where do these discussions happen? I've never seen anyone on map chat discuss things like that where they would give an opportunity to say to someone else to say, yeah, it's perfect. The story is perfect. The story is perfect, or stuff like this. It's nothing like that. I think, in fact, the most recent conversation I've observed in map chat in like Lion's Arch was like something potato Festival of the Four Winds drop chances fucking suck, something like that. I think was the last that I got. And then I was in a squad doing like the Amnitas meta, and we were talking about housing, and because with Xanthar Wilds we're gonna have housing, so people were talking about that, and it was a very grounded conversation. It was like, yeah, this interesting, we don't have to have a lottery like Final Fantasy, or for example, it was a good idea, that kind of thing. I don't know. I'm gonna just let it play.
Into the toxic part, and there's no better place other than PvP. So if someone would ask me, is Guild Wars 2 PvP toxic? My answer would be, hell yeah. In 6 out of 8 games someone gets called out or called an idiot. To put it lightly. Question is, why? Well, the Guild Wars 2 player base is insanely small, and the PvP player base is even smaller than that. And what happens when you lock toxic people together in a room for years without changes? Exactly. They start to poison themselves into a state of utter chaos. Okay, now comes the difficult part, the transition from default toxicity into toxic positivity, because the exact same thing that happened in Guild Wars 2 PvP happened in the Guild Wars 2 community at large. If someone voices their opinion, that they disagree or are upset with some decisions made by ArenaNet, the most common answer they get is, just leave. If you don't like it...
I have legit never seen that. Am I stoned? Am I fucking high? I've been on Reddit. And I've been on the forums. Dude, nobody's fucking positive. Everyone is going like, boo, Bladesform fucking sucks, dude. Fucking fix that shit. And then people are like, fucking mesmers, dude. They're fucking everywhere. And then people are like, stupid ArenaNet. Do this before it's too late. Am I reading different forums? And even on Reddit, it's even worse. It's like, why the fuck isn't Arena like decoupling skins from armor weights? That's stupid. Or things like, where are my fucking Bladesworn Gunsaber skins, ArenaNet? That was me, by the way. Or, for example, other stuff like that. Like, who... Am I out of touch completely with Guild Wars? Dude, I think this guy is just... And what was that example about toxicity in PvP? Like, yeah, it exists. So what does that prove? So he used it as an example to say that this is what's happening. That like, because... So just like in PvP, you get poisoned by the toxicity. In the same way, if you go on the forums, you get poisoned by positivity. And then you become a positivity drone. What? Wait a fucking minute. Wait a fucking minute. Just wait a fucking minute. I'm honestly just... You know what? One second. I'm gonna take a look right now. Wait a minute, I'm gonna take a look right now. So, okay, here we are. Let's see Reddit. Aha. Memes, LSD fever dreams, people trashing the expansion, cool storytelling with Pathfire. Let's take this one for example. Let's see what that gets us. Some announcement, this guy talking about their fucking homestead, memes, stuff, artwork, I guess, questions, jokes, stuff about something to buy, feeling lost, just diversity for coins, so Mesmer, should I buy, should I not, using weapons, disable salvage warnings, complaining about Bladesworn, the new workload mount, Brace Joko, yeah, that was good, appreciating Ranger, some requests, laughs, glam, an announcement, a dude, info, asking for help, some guy seeing UFOs. I'm grabbing those, by the way. I grabbed those. Cool. Complaining about animation from Spears. Okay. What is this guy saying? Blah blah, I love it, I love it. Alright, and then goes like, yeah, it's good, it's good. Blah 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 blah. It's good to me, Pathfire speak. Alright. And so on and so forth. To me, it's also an utter waste. Alright. And then we have the forums. Like, so far, did you see something like even close to what this guy is describing? Like, I'm curious. Because that's what I see, like, that's the kind of stuff you see every time you open, like, Reddit. You don't really see anything too positive or too negative. You just go like, oh yeah, you know, just stuff to read. It's fine, I guess. Let's go to discussion, right? Let's go to fucking Xanthri Wilds. Let's go to Secrets of the Obscure and End of Dragons, I guess. And let's go to professions, which... Let's go into Warrior and to Mesmer and Thief, I guess. And then... Okay. Asking for new races, more items without particles. About Skyscale. Where's the hype? Terrain manipulation, what? Why a backpack? Nice job. What the fuck is this? Let's see. About the homestead. Yeah, I mean, of course we're hyped about the homestead. It's like the biggest thing. Anyway, it's big, it's huge, honestly. Please take my money. I just bought it, alright. What is this other game you're referring to? I'm curious. What is it? Is this a fever dream? I can't even read it. Yeah. This cares or parasite thing, what are you even talking about? Is it ChatGPT? This is a legit nice reaction. I'm sorry, but yes, take it and let's leave this thread. Rifts are killing the metas. Why did they add more story? Please put any amount of optimization. Blah blah. Questions, suggestions. ruin the casters. Turn off the timer, please. EOD a flop. List your issues with Warrior. What if Spellbreaker did this? Buff Shield. Blazewars have been Assassin, not Brawler. Well, where? Okay. Mesmer. Questions, questions, questions. Advice, questions. Suggestions. Questions. My guy, you're fucking... this guy's high. I'm sorry, this guy's fucking high. Because everything we just saw, right? That's all I fucking see ever. And I see less in game. This guy's fucking huffing his own copium. I'm sorry. This guy is just like, I don't know, he's like... I think this video is pointless. I'm sorry. I think this video is just nonsense. I'll keep watching a couple of minutes and see where it goes, and we might just move on.
If you don't like the current state of the game, just go. People in Guild Wars 2 very often don't try to talk about an issue. The main objective is to invalidate the negative opinion or just make it disappear, because yeah, Guild Wars 2 is a perfect game. Which raises the question in my head, why does such a perfect game always, for years, is withering away in the shadow of its competitors? Which...
Ah, yes, okay, yeah, goodbye. Good video, bro. Nice. Nice prologue into saying, oh my god, it's dying. Good job. Nothing of what that guy said in that video can be substantiated. Nothing. Except, you know, some yes men on a stream. Cool. Good job. Yeah, no, that was like a waste of time. That was a waste of time. So let's move on to... Oh, it's the same person. Alright, when the target audience is nobody. You fucking bunch of nobodies. You're... If you like Guild Wars, you're a fucking nobody. Let me tell you right now. You're a nobody. It's like the game that you're playing, that game is targeted at nobody. Why are you even playing it? Don't even bother. According to this title. Alright, fine, I'll dive in. Let's see, I don't have any high hopes after the first video we watched. Let's see why you're... And I, myself, I'm a nobody as well. Let me see.
Alright, another more or less random video. I don't really have a name for that type of video. I usually do those if I can't really get a hold on a specific idea that is floating through my mind. Anyways, the topic of this video is, are MMORPGs losing their casual player base? And I try to talk about MMOs in general, but in this specific video I will heavily focus on Guild Wars 2, since that game unfortunately is the peak example of MMO development failure. I mean, you can literally times 10 everything in Guild Wars 2. Casuals are more casual than it is good for them. Competitive players try harder than necessary, especially witnessing that in PvP is actually kinda sad, and yeah.
Is this guy literally going to complain about people not playing the way he wants them to play? Do I watch it? It's long as well, it's like 17 minutes. I already feel like dumber for having watched the previous video. Yeah, you know what? I'm not gonna watch it. Let's just move on, because like I just noticed that 7 days ago he posted another video going like, the real reason MMORPGs have died. Guild Wars 2. I'm looking at you, buddy. You're fucking dead. You're dead and buried. A dancing corpse named MMORPG. This guy is so dramatic. Is he doing it on purpose? Is that like his style of content? Is that like just to get clicks or something, to get views? I cannot take this guy seriously anymore. I don't know. I don't think I want to, like, okay, let me see. I'm gonna go directly here and give it an honest chance to get to the point.
PS healer or tank you want, and here comes the point where I unfortunately have to say, nope, that's not true. You straight up can't. Because MMORPGs are balanced around the best performing players and their strategies. For example, if people make 100 gold per hour, it will get nerfed, even though a casual barely made 2 gold an hour using the exact same method. If people do 60k DPS with a build, it will get nerfed, even though 75% of the player base barely hits 20k with the exact same build. And fights will be designed and adjusted around strategies and performances of the best teams. Don't bring the player, bring the class. If you don't have a Mesmer portal, Warlock portal or...
That's dog shit. To an extent it's true, but what he says is true for people who are just absolutely clueless and somehow find themselves in a situation where they're being dragged around by people they deem more experienced. So basically a bad case of monkey see, monkey do gone wrong. In that case, yeah, like if you get mixed with a group of players that you play with, and they just literally fucking whip you into shape, into the shape that they want you to take, and you fucking swallow that, yeah, what he says is gonna happen. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna like go in depth about this. It is true, but it needs certain conditions. Unfortunately, these conditions are common because people would rather just, you know, see and do than get informed about something. And of course, informing someone can be seen as a waste of time if you're like, I don't know, energy drink fueled and pressed for time. You're not gonna sit there and say, so Bob, you know, if you use that skill instead of the other skill, you know, or have you thought about trying this, or can I bring this class? Yes, you can, you know, but that's kind of like what I nurture in my own group. It's like, what do you want to do? Let's accommodate you. Let's find the tactic that works. This is the reason why we literally low man raids, even on challenge mode lately. This is the reason why we low man fractals, why we kind of like, you know, we want to be open about it and like try stuff out and see what works for us as a group and all that. And you know what? It's fucking good. It's great fun. Now, if someone wants to be part of a group that is like, oh, what's the most optimal way to do everything that only ever exists? This one. All right, let's all copy paste that one and do it. So it sounds to me this guy, and going by how jaded he is, I think what happened to him, and I may be wrong, is like exactly that. He tried to go it that route, you know, and got completely fucked. Because yes, you can't expect like Jim, the new guy, to be pulling off like over 20k, but like at the same time, I've taken like a couple of players by the hand, taking them to the fucking training dummy and told them, look, this is your build, you know, that's the build you're describing to me. Because I do ask them, like, what would you like to do? For example, I'd like to do this and that. All right, with what class? And it's like, okay, with this class, all right. And then I'll find the necessary information. I'll tell them where I found it. And within like 10 minutes, that person is pulling over 20k easy. With like exotic gear and like no runes, no sigils, no food, no nothing. And being amazed, like, oh my god, like I can do this. So now if you take that person with you a few times, on T4 or CMs or like CM raids, over time, over a week time, 2 weeks, depending how much you raid and all that, I guess that's like relative, you will notice that they are slowly improving. Not even slowly, like actually quite fast. And suddenly you're clearing CMs, and then you go back to easier content, and even they, you know, they're like, that this is a lot easier now. Or for example, now I know what I need. You know, they get the direction. They're like, oh, how could I do this better? Because that was fun. How can I do it better? And they start looking into proper stat lines. They start looking into what could I do. And then after that, then the experimentation begins, because now they have the basics, they have something that works, and they're like, okay, how can I tailor this to what I like? And having a group or a guild that actually allows for that, because let's say the core of the guild is very solid to the point where, you know, let me give you an example. If you can low man with 5 people, right? 6 people, whatever, that's 4 slots that are free. Now, does it matter what is in those slots? Not really, right? So that allows people to just join and try whatever the fuck they want to try. Maybe bring something non-meta completely, something home-cooked, right? And it will still be a body that you're throwing at the raid and a friend that you're bringing on voice. And it's still gonna work because you're already low manning it, so what's the point? You know, what's the problem, I mean? And that person is not only not bringing something meta, but because of the experience they've accumulated so far, they also know what they're doing, so they might make something that is not absolutely meta just work fine. Because again, with literally any class, you can still pull off 20, just like this guy said, anyone and their mother can do 20k, and 20k is like that, it's fine. It's fine, for real, it's actually fucking fine. Especially if you're an extra body. Again, because let's say you can low man a fight with like 5 people instead of 10, right? These slots are empty. These 5 slots remaining are empty. So anything you put in there is going to be either interesting, fun, it's going to be definitely adding to the damage that you're doing, which you need, or to the survivability of the group, which you need. So I think what he describes is like, yeah, it can happen, but at the same time, it's not the case. You know, it's just Guild Wars suffers from this fucking. It was much worse, by the way. It was much worse 2 years ago with like Necros and Guardians. You know, the whole fucking Guardian Wars too, and like the whole fucking. If you don't bring a Guardian, your group is just worthless. You know, or a Necro, a Condi Necro. It's not like that. It's still kind of bad, but not that bad. It's manageable at this point, where you don't have to pick anything. Sure, Mesmers are amazing to have. Yeah, definitely. You know, Chrono is like meta healer build or whatever. But I don't know, dude. It's just like we raid normally without all those stuff, you know. The moment we decide to add that is because the person who brings it actually enjoys it. So Lara, for example, lately has been enjoying Mesmer because of like the whole, you know, the whole aspect of, guess what? Character identity, you know, class identity. It does a lot of stuff with portals and illusions, and she kind of digs that. If she didn't dig that and didn't want to fucking bring it, nobody would fucking bat an eye. We've done those raids with like completely non-meta stuff. So who the fuck cares? Just find the right group, and you yourself have the right fucking attitude and the right approach, and stop being a fucking monkey. And also find information, because it's extremely easy to find it. Just fucking Google that shit. Or ask for it in your guild, I guess. And there you go. So this guy's basically complaining about people problems. You'll never fix those. You'll never fucking fix those. You cannot fix those. You can't. It's the same as going for fucking Cumbriel in Convergence. Where you can't fix them. If you're failing it, it's because you can't fix people. You can't fucking teach stupid dogs new tricks. It's not old dogs in this case, it's fucking stupid dogs, I'm sorry. It's a dumb dogs, completely. You can't teach them new tricks. So they just don't work. And when they do, it's a pleasant surprise, right? So I don't think, like, it's not also it's not specific to Guild Wars. I'd say it is specific to any game that allows you to have a build, to actually click on things that change how your class plays. Any game that does that is gonna have morons like that, who just, you know, and morons like this guy, which then complains about it, not understanding this, not the game's problem. It's like people are approaching it, or kind of shoehorning other people into approaching it in a certain way, which then they can, like, the epitome of that was like a guy we had in the guilds at some point, who was like a dragon hunter back then, and he was like, he would die in every encounter. He would be the first person to die, like a fucking moron. But for the 10 or 15 seconds he could survive, he would be blasting like 60k damage. Some shit, some insane shit like that. For like 10 seconds or something, like that. Which was absurd. Then he would die, of course. And you're like, bro, why the fuck are you, like, why are you the floor? All the time, like every single fucking encounter, ever. Any fractal, any encounter. And he goes, oh, I don't care, man. Why the fuck are you fucking, shit-talking? And you're like, I'm not even shit-talking. Why are you, like, pay some attention to the ground. It's like, lava on the floor, and shit. It's like, look at my DPS. Now look at me. Now look at my DPS. Now look at me. Fuck you. And I was like, alright, well, yeah, okay, fuck you too. And I kicked him. Because literally, what the fuck? But that guy was the embodiment of what this guy is describing as a problem of the game, when in reality it's a problem of the people. Because you know what happens when you take away creativity in order to prevent people, to try and fix people? Final Fantasy rotations happen, where basically you just either do 1, 2, 3, or you suck. And you're safe. If you do 1, 2, 3, you're safe. As long as you get muscle memory to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you're safe. And for that, class variety, build variety, rotation variety, all of it suffers. I'm not gonna watch this video. This guy is depressed completely. Game-wise, he's completely depressed as a gamer. My dude, find another game. Stop shit-talking at this point. Just take a page out of my book. Just find another game for a bit, okay? This guy is me. If I decided to stay on Final Fantasy. And that's scary. Nope. Had enough of you. The real reason MMORPGs have died. Guild Wars 2. Let it fucking go. Let it go. Please let it go. The only toxic person I've seen so far, based on their opinions, is that person. And they are not toxically positive. They're toxically negative. Like, for real. Like, the definition of toxicity at this point. Fuck it. And got time for that shit. And neither do you. And I don't care about their opinions, so I'm not gonna be watching them. Anyway, let's watch this instead. Let's see what the fuck this is about. The 5 biggest misconceptions about Guild Wars 2. Alright, count me in. That sounds a lot more interesting and neutral.
Love Guild Wars 2, but I also play other MMOs sometimes. And whenever I talk to people in those other MMOs, inevitably Guild Wars 2 comes up. And every single time, people say the same couple of things. There is like nothing to do.
This accent is amazing. Where the fuck are you from, Laranity? That accent is amazing.
In Guild Wars 2. Isn't that game dead? That game has like no end game. Guild Wars 2 doesn't have any cat girls. Excuse me? No cat girls? That is very much a lie. There are a lot of misconceptions about Guild Wars 2 out there. Some of these are just plain wrong.
You know, Tsar, shit all over Mikote. I'm not gonna lie. Unless we're talking ERP potential. But if we're talking like, let's put aside the not safe for work stuff, okay? In that regard, I'm sorry, but Tsar shit all over, collectively all over fucking Mikote and Hrothgar. They shit all over them, literally, conceptually, design-wise, everything. Armor-wise, everything, skin-wise, like they shit all over them. They take a massive dump on them. That only changes if we go into, I'm a level 1 fairy and I kind of like the cat tail and the cat ears, and my god, let me just stroke to that. When that comes into play, then yes, okay, fine. But yeah, if we take that away, races in Final Fantasy are just humans with attachments. So yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, it shits all over it. Anyway.
But there are also some that used to be true in the past, but no longer are. Honestly, some of these misconceptions are pretty understandable. But in today's video, it is time to set the record straight. Let's talk about 5 common misconceptions about Guild Wars 2. And we are starting off with a big one. Guild Wars 2 is a dead game. For some
I love you. Thank you. I fucking love you. Yeah, that is something I've literally screamed against over like 5 videos already, because it was huge like 2 or 3 weeks ago, maybe more. I don't know, maybe more actually. It was huge and everybody was like raging about it. Literally, it's dead. Move on. It's dead. Just don't play the game. It's dying. It's already dead. Like, it was such a fucking shit show.
For some reason, a lot of people seem to think that any game they themselves don't play must be dead. Any of you remember PUBG, which was like everywhere for a while? Lots of people now say that that game is super dead, even though it has like 500,000 people playing right now. Dead game, dead game! Just because you and your friends are not playing a game anymore doesn't mean it's dead. Guild Wars 2
That goes for any game, and yeah, girl, fucking preach on, for real. Like, this is, yeah, please.
is very much alive and kicking. We don't have any official player numbers, but you can log into the game right now and you will find lots of people running around in pretty much every single zone. Except for maybe Delve. A lot of people don't like Delve. Point is, you can go to a random expansion map from 8 years ago and run into a massive group of players doing a world boss. There are people everywhere, and I have never ever felt that there weren't enough players around for me to have a good time. If anything, I actually think the game often feels more alive than some of the bigger MMOs out there. There are 2 reasons for this. First of all, Guild Wars 2 has mega servers. This means that instead of splitting the player base over lots of smaller servers,
Yes, fucking yes, she gets it. She fucking gets it. I mean, I have nothing to say. She gets it.
there's basically one massive EU server and one massive NA server. These servers dynamically scale up and down depending on how many people are playing. This system is awesome, and it means that even the oldest content still feels populated. The second reason is that Guild Wars 2 doesn't have a gear treadmill, and they also never increased the level cap. The max level and the best gear is still the same as 10 years ago.
Thank you. Fucking... She gets it. I don't feel alone anymore as far as YouTube goes. Holy shit, she gets it. Okay.
This might sound a little bit strange if you're coming from a different MMO, and we'll talk more about this later in the video, but it basically means that old content stays relevant for much longer. We don't just all abandon the old expansion once the new one comes out. Hello? Where is everybody? We have to fight the Lich King! So, Guild Wars 2 feels really alive, even in the older expansions. But how is the game doing financially? Nobody wants to invest in an MMO that is going into maintenance modes. Well, we do know that Guild Wars 2 is still making quite a lot of money. There is a reason that we are still getting new expansions every year, despite the game being 12 years old. In just a couple of weeks, the Janvier Wilds expansion is coming out, which is finally adding player housing. And we also know that the expansion after that one is already in early development. This game is very much not in maintenance mode. I do kind of understand though why people might think that this game is dead. If you look at the Steam player numbers, there are not actually that many people playing the game on Steam. The thing is, Guild Wars 2 only came out on Steam 10 years into its life. So by far most of the player base does not play on the Steam clients. So don't worry about these player numbers. The actual amount of people playing the game is much higher. There is like nothing to do in Guild Wars 2 after level 80. This misconception is honestly also kind of understandable. When Guild Wars 2 first came out back in 2012, there wasn't that much to do once you hit max.
Yeah, lower moment for myself. That's what happened to me back then. Before Path of Fire, before Heart of Thorns. You know, I loved the game. I reached 80 and I was like, what the fuck am I supposed to do now? And quit. Literally. But that was ages ago at this point. Right now, if you reach endgame and you can't find something to do, I would recommend installing new eyes and downloading IQ.
Level, Getting best in slot gear was pretty easy, and really, your options were either to play PvP or to grind the same couple dungeons over and over. There just wasn't that much PvE content, and because of that, a lot of the early player base quit the game pretty fast. So back in 2012, it was really common to hear people say that Guild Wars 2 had no endgame. And honestly, it's a reputation that still follows the game around to this.
A lot of people that come to our guild, and then they go because I kick them because they like aren't fitting in properly. But let's not discuss about that. Let's talk about this. A lot of people who come into my guild, for example, and into other guilds as well, like, well, all of the guilds, the common backstory that you're gonna hear, the common lore they're gonna give you about themselves is like, oh, I played on launch and I return now. That's because right now there's like so much to do that it's definitely worth coming back and definitely worth exploring like the endgame options it offers. And let me tell you, in terms of endgame options, Guild Wars 2 does it so sweet. It's the chef's kiss. It's like, yes, it's future-proof in that regard, for real. It's not, some things can be grindy depending on what you want to do, like legendaries are grindy. Everything else I feel after a lot of like doing and seeing and learning, everything else is like very accessible and not as grindy as, let's say, let's compare it, for example, to doing Boja in Final Fantasy. Like, bleh. But then you come into Guild Wars and you're like, okay, I'm gonna farm like this meta, that other meta, and farming it doesn't feel so fucking stale and everything. Anyway, that's just opinions. Maybe just, okay, forget what I said there. Let's go back. Let's go and say, yeah, people who join usually join now after a very long break from Guild Wars 2, just because now there are things to do. And their previous progress is still fucking relevant. Which is also a huge fucking boon right there. No pun intended.
This day. However, it is now 2024 and this is no longer true. There have been 12 years of updates and expansions, so there are now a huge amount of open world maps, world bosses, story, raids, fractal dungeons and strike missions. And because Guild Wars 2 doesn't increase the level and gear cap, almost all of this content still gets actively played. There is actually so much relevant content that it can be a little bit overwhelming. Where do you even start? Hey, check out more videos on my channel if you want to know where to even start. And that pretty neatly leads us to our next misconception. It is too late to start Guild Wars 2. I just watched this video on YouTube and this YouTuber said that there is too much to do. With 12 years of content, how am I ever gonna catch up? Well, fortunately, catching up in Guild Wars 2 is pretty easy. Like we've mentioned several times before, the game never adds new, better gear tiers, and they also never increase the level cap. This means that it's actually very easy and very fast to get to the points where you can play all of the content. Playing through everything will definitely take you a while, but the neat thing is, you don't really have to do that. Guild Wars 2 doesn't stop you from jumping straight to the newest expansion once you are at max level. You can just kinda pick whatever content you feel like doing. And if you do need some sense of direction, you should totally check out this amazing video this YouTuber made on what to do after level 80. Yo, have you thought about pressing that subscribe button yet? But just because getting caught up is easy, doesn't mean that there are no ways to keep progressing past max level. You can get mastery levels to unlock features like gliding and mounts, or you can go explore and fill out the massive world map. There is super gorgeous legendary gear that will take you months to grind for, and there are several super challenging boss fights with some epic rewards. Guild Wars 2 never forces you to grind, but if you are an old school RuneScape main and you actually enjoy grinding, there are plenty of long-term goals to really sink your teeth into. Guild Wars 2 is pay to win. Alright everyone, strap yourselves in. It is time to talk about Guild Wars 2's microtransactions. That game doesn't have a sub fee, so it basically has to be pay to win, right? They gotta make money somehow. Well, actually, I think Guild Wars 2's monetization is quite alright. There is no sub fee, but if you want to access all of the content, you will want to pick up the expansion packs and also the Living World DLCs. These all have a ton of content, so I think they're super worth the money. Besides these, GW2 also sells convenience items and skins, and I'm not gonna lie, some of those are super nice to have. I don't think I could live without my super cute plushy mount skins. If fashion is the true endgame, then my plushy turtle is definitely making me win. I've never felt that I had to spend money on microtransactions to be able to keep up with my friends or play the game properly. And that is definitely not something I can say for most other MMOs without a sub fee.
Yep, true. And also some MMOs with a sub fee who also have a shop, and they even sell you story skips, for example, because they know that their story is yeah, let's leave that alone.
Something that's actually quite nice is that you can trade in-game gold for gems, which is the cash shop currency, and also the other way around. This means that you can get anything at a gem store just by playing the game, and it also means that you can legally buy gold. Some people might consider buying gold kind of pay to win, because well, you can totally buy gold and then use that to craft the best gear. But don't worry, it's not nearly as bad as it might sound. Like I said before,
Not only is it not as bad as it sounds, it's also dumb as fuck. Never buy gold. Just saying. Never turn your gems into gold. Just play the game, make gold, buy what you want. Like, it's seriously. Yeah, the pay to win part is the hugest misconception. I've watched a lot of videos and, from YouTubers that are coming into Guild Wars 2 to just review it, I guess. And they all stumble on the pay to win aspect, and they all claim it's pay to win. I don't fucking understand that, for real. I don't fucking understand that. But hey, whatever. What the fuck do I know, right? Anyway.
or leveling up and obtaining max stat gear does not take long at all. So it's less pay to win and more you can pay to skip the first couple hours of the game. But you probably shouldn't because it's fun to do it yourself. However, there are definitely some convenience items that are super useful, like infinite gathering tools and more backspace. You can check out my gem store tier list video for all the details on that. But really, do not worry, you can have a very good experience and be entirely competitive without any microtransactions. Guild Wars 2 is a casual MMO. I am a hardcore raider and there is nothing for me to do in that game.
Yeah, whoever I've heard saying that or approaching it with that, I mean, yes, it's casual enough that you can be competitive without, like, you know, deep diving meta information. Absolutely, you can just be totally just casual and you'll still contribute and you'll still, like, have fun and whatever. Yes, true. But it's more a case of, like, easy to get into, easy to be viable into, but also high skill ceiling or high ceiling in general, because there's lots of information if you want to look it up. There's lots of optimizations if you want to look them up, a lot of guides if you are interested, all that stuff, right? And when it comes to my guild and the way that I run our group anyway, I do expect people to want to deep dive at least a little bit. Because I do want them, the reason why I want them to do that is because of what I said earlier, much earlier actually, when I said that, like, yeah, I like having people in my guild who can be like, you can assign noobs to them and they will get them through content. So that these noobs can then, you know, in turn, like the game more, enjoy their time more, and you know, be willing to learn in that environment, right? So I do encourage that. I do encourage, like, my more veteran members, let's say. God, I sound like such a fucking girl boss right now, but, like, that's just the way that I like doing things in Guild Wars when it comes to the group. I like pushing my core group. I like low manning stuff with them so that they learn and I learn as well. And that we develop, like, teamwork and we develop, like, you know, some chemistry between us as a group. And then that means we can, you know, have fun without relying on randoms if we don't want to. But it also means that then you can go into content and, you know, you can more safely babysit someone who's new, right? And then that someone is going to be interested in how you do things. And, you know, you get the idea, right? Because we could have very easily, we could very easily just you know, not give a shit and be like, okay, yeah, you're new, okay, get this build, do the things, and that's all. No interactions, no learning, no nothing, just fucking be a fucking damage bot for us, you know? Which is, a lot of guilds actually do that, to be honest, which fucking sucks. I'm not gonna lie, that fucking sucks. Instead, what we do, we're like, hey, fucking participate, fucking learn the thing, learn the fucking fight. You know, don't shy away from the challenge of actually having to learn the mechanics of a fight. And it's like, oh, but Daphne, I go and do it like with randoms and like, who the fuck cares because we kill it in 2 minutes? Yeah, motherfucker, and then you don't learn anything. You don't know how the game works. And then you think it's like, oh, let me just click all the buttons and all that. And then you're a dead weight, basically. And you're not even enjoying the game because you don't even care about what you're doing in the game. Like, you're purposefully keeping your gameplay to a minimum, and that's not gonna keep you engaged. Right? In any activity. Because I can go, let me give you an example. I can right now, I can go grab a ball, go to the basketball court next door, you know, next to me, and start like, find one spot, sit there forever, and shoot, right? I'll miss, I'll score, but that's all I'll do. I'll just sit there and do that stuff. Eventually I'll score, of course, and the more I do it, you know, the more accurate I become from that particular position, and blah blah, you get what I'm saying. But then in comes a team and they go like, okay, well, we have a goal, which is like, we need to score that many points in this much time, and there's also going to be obstacles, and there's also going to be, you're going to have to start moving as well, because the more you do that, the more we're going to score, and the faster we're going to be, and the more efficient, and blah blah. So if you do start caring about that because you're part of a group that makes it fun, right, then it's no longer a casual game, because you are looking into optimizing, you are looking into learning, you are looking into gearing, into rotations, into your build, into, you know, all that stuff, right? Which is not to say that that pushes you towards like copy-paste builds of flavor of the month or anything, because as I said, if the core group is good, you can allow for the rest of the group to just do whatever the fuck they want, right? And towards this whole purpose is why I usually, when we get a new member, I usually go like, okay, you know, I try to push them to participate, to join us in what we do, to always bring like at least 2 builds, at least 1 support, at least 1 DPS, because I want them to learn the game. I want them to be an actual member of the group, you know? And at least to my understanding, that makes it fun for everyone. And recently I was like, we had a talk, like, you know, 3 or 4 of my main henchmen. We were talking on voice, and we were like, oh, you know, Daphne, you're pushing us to do stuff. But they were saying it in a sweet way. Like, yeah, you get some ideas, and then you want to do them, and then you make us do them as a group. And that's fun. That's actually fun, you know, because otherwise it really just remains a casual game. True. Otherwise you just do nothing. You just sit there and you go like, yeah, let me just press some buttons and I'm gonna log out, whatever, who cares. But the more you start caring, because like your group actually cares and they do want you to do stuff, the more it becomes like, okay, let me sit down right here and learn. What can I do? And then surprisingly, you will see like a huge leap, like huge improvements in everything that you do. And you'll be like, damn, like 1 hour ago, when I didn't have that information, I didn't know how to upgrade my rings. I didn't know how to fractal. I didn't know how to raid. I didn't know that this fight actually has mechanics, and they're kind of interesting because it's challenging enough, but also doable to do them low man, for example, right? And then it becomes just nice. And you start getting invested. And at that point, it won't be casual in the sense of like phone game levels of participation, right? But it's also not going to be on the levels of Final Fantasy, where at this point raiding is an esport level event, right? To be honest. If you want to call that casual, you can. especially if you're coming from Final Fantasy, Savage Raiding, and Ultimate Raiding, you definitely will feel it's more casual. At the same time, you will still be challenged enough to be engaged, minus frustrations, though, in my personal opinion. The last part was just my personal opinion. But you will still be engaged. So yeah, I think it sits at a nice sweet spot where it can be as casual as you want, but also it can be, let's say, challenging. I'm not gonna say like extremely challenging, depending, of course, because for example there is like a CM Harvest Temple or CM Cerus or all that stuff, or like legendary fucking Cerus or whatever that fight is called, which yeah, that kind of pushes it, I guess. But like you're still gonna be engaged. Like your brain is gonna still be engaged, and you'll still have fun, and it will still feel casual a little bit. So I think it's a very sweet spot, actually. Anyway, just my opinion on that one. But is it really casual to the point where there is no like the skill ceiling is so low that you can literally just, even if you learn to play better, nothing will change and nothing matters? Well, that's the misconception. And I wonder if she gets that. Let me see what she wants to say. But that's what I would say about it before hearing her opinion.
It is true that GW2 is very casual friendly. There is a lot of very easy, chill open world content. You never have to grind much to keep up, and you can have a lot of fun even if you play for just a couple of hours. But that doesn't mean that there is no hardcore content at all. GW2 has several boss fights that will make even the most seasoned MMO pros sweat a little bit. And besides these challenging boss...
Alright, so she said, yeah, okay, so she's overplaying it a little bit here. Because, for example, but is she though? Is she though? I guess it depends on the individual. Because, for example, someone coming from Final Fantasy, even though they might be raiding ultimates and all that, like the style of encounters is different enough, the gameplay is different enough, and the dangers during an encounter come from a very different place than they come from Final Fantasy, where it's like, oh, you failed to memorize that mechanic, okay, you're dead. Here it comes like in other forms, like danger comes in other forms, like the challenge, let's say, comes in other forms. So they still might fumble, so I guess there is some merit to what she's saying. But I would say, if you wanna wank Final Fantasy players, if you wanna really wank them, you can say that she could be wrong, that there is like a lot of content that would make them sweat. But then again, she just says in the end, sweat a little, right? So I think that she's covered. But I will lean towards the side that this is if you wank those players a lot. Because, for example, I know for a fact that, like, I have an example with Kaori, for example, who just cannot adjust to how combat goes in Guild Wars 2. And so even though Kaori is, like, a very good player in Final Fantasy, very good, honestly, like, really good. Ultimate raiding, blah, blah, everything, you know, in a team, first week clear Savage, you know, all that kind of thing. But in Guild Wars 2, she's trash. So, sorry, Kaori. But I'm just like, you know, just to show you that, for example, maybe this girl has, you know, what she's saying has merit. Like, maybe they will sweat a little. Who knows? Who knows? I don't know. I don't have enough of a pool of experiences with people that made the transition, right? But who were also top tier raiders in Final Fantasy. So I don't have a metric there. Myself, from what I've seen, because I'm also like into, or I was into Savage raiding in Final Fantasy, I would say the water is exactly the temperature it should be in Guild Wars 2. I feel challenged, I feel engaged, but I don't feel hopeless without investing like a week of practice. 4 days a week, 4 hours a time practice, you know? I feel I can go in there with my group, we can devise our strategies, we can wipe a few times and then, you know, understand what we're doing. No need to study like 50,000 guides and like waste time studying for school because mom is gonna wipe you instantly if you fail your memory check. You know, there's none of that. So I would say, for me, I guess, you know, with the encounters I've done so far, I have, yeah, I sweat a little. Yeah, it's true. There are some encounters that have made me sweat a little. But that's actually okay. It's within the comfort zone that I have for myself before I say for a game, fuck that shit, because I don't need a second job. You know, it's nowhere near that. It's like it's really just the right temperature for me as a more mid-core raider in Final Fantasy, let's say. You know, but like real mid-core, like no first week clears, no nothing, would go in there, try to do the thing, try to watch a guide, you know, that kind of thing, you know. So I really just don't have enough of a sample, I guess. Neris would be a third person I could look at. Neris and Sam. Oh my god, I miss Sam, by the way. But like anyway, that doesn't matter. What matters is Neris has no problem adjusting. I think that he finds some stuff challenging. But with organizing, and this is a huge difference with like Final Fantasy, with some improvisation, adapting and organization, and some, you know, discussing tactics and like all that as a group, like how are we gonna fucking negotiate the obstacle, right? We overcome without any guides, you know, it allows you to improvise enough to do that, and I find that to be a huge plus, right? But anyway, we're not here to talk about the, you know, the advantages of Guild Wars combat. But is she correct in what he's saying? I cannot answer in the end. I feel I can't answer. I feel, going by my example, I would have said, nah, they wouldn't have a problem. But going by Kaori's example, for example, you know, okay, cool. But going by Kaori's case, for example, maybe they will sweat a little. Who the fuck knows? So, yeah. But anyway, in general, that doesn't matter. What matters is that she's actually correct in what she's saying, overall.
Fights, mastering Guild 2's combat can be quite a challenge in and of itself. It is easy to pick up, but the skill ceiling is really, really high. You can truly become a gold at Guild 2's combat if you put in the hours. And honestly, no other MMO combat gives me quite the same satisfaction. Oh, and also, you better learn how to dodge.
Yeah, motherfucker. First of all, yes, learn how to fucking dodge. I'm looking at you, you fucking filthy casuals. But like, yeah, no, she... Yeah, we agree a lot on these parts. We do agree a lot. I will say you don't have to sync hours upon hours, especially if you have like general... you know, let's call it gamer sense. If you have like good gamer sense, all you need is like 10-20 minutes on a dummy, and then you know, and then like 2 or 3 times doing dailies with your group, and you will start definitely understanding how it works and already improving hugely. So I think she kind of overplays that. You don't need to sync hours, and also the difference is also not that fucking gigantic. It's a little bit easier than she says. But yeah, there is definitely a high skill ceiling, for sure. And some people can do some really amazing stuff with their characters in Guild Wars 2. And you know, with their like the usage of their utility skills and everything, they can come up with some really crazy stuff. Again, I'll just cite some about that, you know. And also our group, where, you know, we will always try to adapt our builds to the situation and, like, you know, have some good synergy, and try to cleverly, like, you know, circumvent some obstacles. But yeah, there's definitely stuff there. It's just not as dramatic as he presents it here. You will not need, like, even, I guess if you're like completely, literally stupid, I guess then you're fucked. But like, if you have good gamer sense in general, you won't need to sync like hours upon hours, as he said. It's like at a comfortable level, right?
We also haven't even talked about PvP yet. Because Guild Wars 2's combat is so fast, the PvP is honestly kinda scary. Some people have played thousands and thousands of hours of 5v5 PvP, And there are also these guilds out there that are entirely focused on mastering large-scale combat in Wolves vs. Wolves. I am not much of a PvP player myself, but these game modes can definitely get pretty hardcore. The point is, Guilders 2 is...
Yeah, the PvP stuff, I will say that yes, that I guess has a much higher skill ceiling, that's true. That has a much higher skill ceiling, for sure. Like, you can feel it if you go there, you can see, just like she said, like you can tell. You can see some people and you can tell, like they to the point where what they're doing will look like cheating to you sometimes. But yeah, let's go.
It's a very casual friendly game, but only if you want it to be. It is the perfect MMO to play on the side, or to play casually if you have a busy life. But if you are looking for a proper challenge, Guilders 2 definitely offers that as well. And then, for our final misconception, Guilders 2 doesn't have any cat girls. We already discussed that, there totally are. And that was 5 common misconceptions about Guilders 2.
Okay, she's wrong on that one, I'm sorry. The cat ears and tail, until they decouple them from the outfit, which they should and they can do, they definitely can do that, and they definitely should do that, honestly. We cannot claim that. I'm sorry, we can't claim that. I'm sorry. We have Char, which are superior, clearly, unless CRP. But cat girls we don't have, so that still goes to Final Fantasy, I guess. We only have an outfit which he's wearing right there, which is, well, cat ears and the tail, and it's beautiful, but to wear it, you're gonna have to wear the outfit, so that's very limiting. Which is kind of stupid, by the way, because you can wear 4 or 5 different types of horns. You can wear, like, elf ears and roleplay the elf if you want. But you can't wear... And there is, like, a hairband with cat ears, for sure. And there are some fox ears as well. But like, yeah. And there's a hoodie with cat ears, but all that stuff, I mean... You already have the elf ears, fucking ArenaNet. Why the fuck did you not release the cat ears and tails separately? Like, what the fuck? I will never understand that decision to just tie it to an outfit. That was so dumb and such a huge missed opportunity. I don't fucking understand why they did that. It's kind of silly in my opinion. But hey, whatever. Maybe it was like, oh, it will compromise Char identity, or I don't fucking know. It's dumb. It's just dumb in my opinion. And they should decouple it. But whatever, you know, cool video. Can this be seen as toxic positivity, just to bring it into, to bring it in with what we started watching in the beginning? Is this person toxic in her positivity, would you say? I don't know, because like she's just factually covering misconceptions. I don't think she's enthusiastic. Let's not confuse enthusiasm with toxic positivity, because toxic positivity is like, if you want to see what that is like, I'm sorry, but like you should spend some time in Final Fantasy discussing the main quest. I mean, I've never seen a game before where 3 people are gonna drop your group just because you said, oh, Boza is fucking grindy, and they're like, oh, I had enough of you and your criticism of my favorite game, I'm leaving, you know, and people going like, oh my god, your friend doesn't like the main quest? I mean, I'm never talking to you again. Or to them. And they just leave you. They just fucking leave you. They just fucking drop you. Like you're a piece of garbage. So if you want toxic positivity, look that way. I'm sorry. Anyway, so yeah, okay. I don't have enough time to talk about these 2 videos, which I wanted to check with you today. Which to me are very interesting. I'll just keep it Guild Wars. You know what? Get my subscription as well. Fuck it. Yeah, there you go. Good video. Which is a little bit like, you know, it might be a little bit pretentious of me because it's like liking my own words at this point, because you know, my views pretty much resonate with hers, like completely. So I don't know. Whatever, I liked it. I agreed, so I liked it. Because yeah, whatever she's saying has ground, you know, holds water. So it's true. I'm sorry. But yeah, these misconceptions are literally toxic. As for that other guy's videos, I'm sorry, like, I did call the person a moron, but like I do that, like I love shit talking, you know. It's not personal, but as far as those videos that he puts out about Guild Wars being dead, being for nobody, being this toxic positivity, like, oh, dude, these are fucking, I don't know what the guy is smoking when he's making those videos, and about those videos, as far as they're concerned, he's a moron. I'm sorry. And I would like to believe that he understands that what he's saying is kind of like controversial and probably is doing it for that reason. Otherwise, what I can say is like, try another game, dude. Like, seriously, just try another game. Which, of course, according to that video that we watched, his reaction would probably be, oh, see, I was right, you're telling me to leave. No, I'm not telling you to leave. I'm just saying that, like, if you reach that point where you're just literally regurgitating garbage opinions based on nothing but like your own fucking misconceptions, and that's like what you do every week about a game that you don't even play anymore and that you love to hate, but would have loved to love, and you hate that you don't love it. Like, when you reach that point, my dude, play something else for a while and just leave it alone, because all you're doing is like seriously just what I was doing with Final Fantasy, coping and literally just torturing yourself at this point and making everybody else miserable about it as well. So as someone who's been there, or halfway there anyway, the only thing I would say to that person is like, look into it, because like, yeah, you're just wasting your time, for real. And also those videos are kind of trash because they're kind of baseless. So yeah, I don't know. Whatever. And that's me for the day. Cool Saturday morning, I guess. I'm gonna go about my day now, and you should do the same. And Monday is Baldur's, and Tuesday is also Baldur's. And next Monday and next Tuesday, that's gonna be hopefully when we migrate from one save to the other in XCOM 2, because I will have reached at least close to where we are. But yeah, and again, I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for jumping saves, for jumping campaigns with XCOM. I just genuinely think the one we're on right now is gonna just end in disaster, to the point of frustration, because I was already getting a little bit frustrated with like some of the choices I made, like where we're gonna fucking just limit me way too much. They were already limiting me way too much. So yeah, even when it comes to like core class selection for my soldiers, I wasn't gonna waste any more time fucking retraining everyone and reshaping the roster, and like at that point start over. Because you already haven't invaded like the first facility, the first major facility, haven't even invaded it for like 3 streams. So at that point, I keep getting sidetracked by missions that you can't even fucking complete, which you can't even abort, because they're like raid missions or shit like that in your havens. We lost one of the havens as well, like not the haven itself, but all the personnel there, which set us back like tremendously. It was my last hope to recover, was to get a huge supply of a huge shipment of supplies at the end of that month. That went down really hard. I was shut down completely. So yeah, pretty much Aliens 1, XCOM 0 for that one. I'm gonna try to get even with this playthrough and make it like 1-1, and also finish it now that we know more stuff. It's probable that we'll learn more crucial information as I go, but I think that won't warrant a third attempt, because on my first attempt I was missing a lot of like basic information. You know, I wasn't understanding some basics. So yeah, there we go. Sorry for that. Andersky, thank you for the follow. And thanks everyone else for watching. And sorry for there. Okay, you know what? There you go. Come on. Just some camera time, okay? There you go. Just for you, some camera time. Let me adjust this thing here. And yeah, I'll let you go now. I'll try to... I've said it many times. I'll try to use my camera more, okay? Cute. Anyway, thank you. But yeah, I'll try to use my camera more. I'm kind of feeling embarrassed right now. Bye. But yeah, I'll try to. For real. For real, for real. I mean it this time. I want to. I really want to. So, but anyway, I'll see you on Monday. Have an awesome weekend, or remaining of your weekend. And I'll try to do the same, okay? And again, thank you for being here and for watching. And yeah, next Saturday, I think I will also look into those two videos. They aren't really long. They're pretty short as well. They're like, this is like 7 minutes. This is 4 minutes. Like, it's gonna be nothing. And then we can play some. You know, we can play some Guild Wars actually on Saturday. So yeah, that's gonna be nice. And those are my plans. So now you know. I'm hungry and I want to go with my day. So lots of kisses, and I'll see you either in game, if you're, you know, part of my guild, I guess, or I'll see you on Monday for Baldur's. All right, take care, kisses.